Alright guys, so the first thing I have to do before installing the tip is level this thing out and make my measurement and cut it. So to level it out, I'm going to go ahead and use 14mm with extension to loosen up the bolts on the tailpipe over the axle and then right behind the muffler. Next thing I'm going to do once I loosen up the bolts is lift this thing up and then use the jack stand to keep it where I want it before I tighten it back up. Alright, so I'm going to use this 14mm with extension to loosen up the bolts right here on the tailpipe and then the bolts right behind the muffler. Once I've gotten this thing leveled, I went ahead and tightened the bolts right behind the muffler, and now I'm going to tighten up the bolts right here on the tailpipe. Alright, now as you can see, I've pretty much got it leveled as good as it's going to get, and I've tightened everything up. Now I'm going to put the tip on and measure out where I'm going to cut. Alright, now what I'm doing is I'm going to measure from the bend of the tailpipe to the end to get my distance, and then I'm going to test fit this tip on there and see how much I can cut off and still leave to be able to clamp this thing down. So I'm going to have to leave 3 inches, which is the length of the clamping part of the tip, on this pipe past the bend so that I can still clamp it on. So now that I've figured out on this side how far I'm going to leave, how much material I'm going to leave on the tip, I'm going to go ahead and measure that and then duplicate it on the other side. So what I need to do now, I figured out that I need to cut off 6 inches in order to get the tip where it needs to be. So I'm going to go to this back side here and I'm going to duplicate the mark that I made on this side with the paint pen, and then I'm going to cut it. So I said 6 inches. Now I've got a pretty good idea of where I'm going to cut this. Okay, so I have a pretty good idea of where I'm going to start cutting, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this small blade first to get the cut started, and then I'll go to the longer blade to make the final cut. So what I'm going to do, since the long blade keeps coming out, is I'm going to use the short blade and I'm going to go from underneath and try and finish it that way. But first I'm going to get my sunglasses. Alright, well that was a pain in the ass. Alright, well that's just a test fit right now. It hasn't been tightened down, but looks pretty good. It's a little bit short. I wish the 18-inch would work, but it's going to stick out too far. Here you can get a little bit better view. It's pretty much right in line with the outside of the tire. I might cut it back just a little bit more, but I'm right at the bend, so there's not much farther I can't go, but more than maybe a quarter inch. So I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. Looks pretty good, I think. When you look at it from the top, it sticks out a long ways. This is looking straight down. It's about in line with the outside of the fender, or with the quarter panel here. I think that's about right. Pretty much level, pretty much in line with the outside of the truck. I think it looks good. Alright guys, so the next step once you get this thing leveled out is to go ahead and use a 5/16 Allen head to tighten it up. And there you go. That's how you install the exhaust tip on a 5-inch Flow Pro turbo back exhaust for a 2011 to 2016 Chevy or GMC Duramax. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and be sure to subscribe and come back for more videos. Thank you.